Welcome to Season 3 of Playing Around Wisconsin. By now, returning viewers know the goal, to play every single public golf course in the state of Wisconsin and share it with you. For those of you new to the channel, welcome to the journey. There will be lows, highs, great people, and most importantly, great golf courses. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this next stop as we play around Wisconsin. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Playing Around Wisconsin. Coming to you today from the Rockin 9 in Union Center, just west of Mauston, not too far from Hillsboro. Small town, first time out here, should be a fun day exploring something new. So follow along, have some fun, and hopefully I'll play well today. So if you've never heard of Union Center or the Rockin 9, it is a pretty easy golf course to find on the corners of Highway 33, Highway 80, and 82. They have a small practice green and a small fleet of golf carts, and a fantastic setup inside the bar area with 2 simulators. Formerly known as Spring Valley Golf Course, the Rockin 9 is a pretty short and completely flat course that tips out at 3,034 yards from the white tees. At only 303 yards, the first hole is a pretty simple one to start. With nothing but wide open spaces and the 9th hole on the left, and a good amount of area in between the fairway and the road on the right, you can blast away with driver pretty confidently on this hole. The only real issue to keep in mind on this hole, and all of them at this course, is that the rough can be pretty thick depending on the areas. So missing fairways is never really a good thing anywhere you go, but especially out here, be prepared to look a little bit longer for the ball in case you spray it around a little bit. I was pretty happy to set up the camera angle from this point behind the green so you could see the extreme amount of slope that goes from the right to the left on the front side of the green and from the back to the front. I had to be delicate going back down the hill with my birdie putt and was unfortunately way too delicate. I found out the hard way that these greens run particularly slow at the Rockin 9. So keep that in mind so you don't 3-putt a birdie opportunity like I did on the first hole. Hole number 2 is a 154-yard par 3. You shouldn't have to worry about any tree trouble on this hole, but the green is surrounded by 3 small and rocky sand traps that would be very, very tricky to get out of. The green has a subtle bowl shape, especially on the backside, so missing anything long would be a little bit trickier than missing anything short. So do what you can, try not to club up too much, just because it is a little tougher coming back down the slope towards the front of the green. So whatever the case is, once you get onto the green, just trust that the putt is going to funnel towards the very center, taking green speeds into account along the way. Disappointed to lip out a par putt, but I just have to hit a better tee shot. At 346 yards, the third hole has the very first sign of water that comes into play. I elected 3-wood due to the fact that the water is about 260 yards from the back tees, and I did not trust my driver just yet throughout the round. Thankfully, the drive didn't reach the flooded area short of the hazard, but keep in mind, folks, if you're not familiar, if you find yourself in standing water, you do get free relief, so don't be bashful when it comes to that sort of thing. But essentially, a perfect drive should leave you about 100 yards into the green, a pretty long green, and one that, as you can see from this angle here, falls off to the right side. I didn't hit a great wedge from 100, but just try to keep in mind the subtleties of these greens and aim for the center, hope for the best. The second of the par 3s at the Rockin 9, the 4th hole at 171 yards, has an elevated green. Par 3s have been one of my few nemesis this year, so I was happy to get the 2 par 3s out of the way in the first 4 holes. A short miss is a good miss here compared to left, right, or deep. There's no real trouble left, right, or deep. However, the slope of the green going back to front is going to allow a much simpler pitch or chip shot leading up to the green. Again, the greens are running super slow. Managed to miss a birdie putt short. Not thrilled about it, but happy with a 3 on the scorecard regardless. Moving right along is the 5th hole, a par 4 at 384 yards. This is the first hole at the Rockin 9 that the Baraboo River tends to impact. Hopefully you don't have to worry about it off your tee shot from the white tees, but anything over The hazard that is in front of the tee box should be a safe line depending on the club that you want to use off the tee. The third hole running parallel on the left side of this hole, it is a safer play to miss on the left than on the right. I had a little bit of unintended tree trouble that I had to deal with, and I did not deal with it particularly well. Thankfully, I got this pitch shot to land softly, leaving me a fairly simple par putt here. You know, here's a thought. Let's check in with me with some thoughts on the course after 5 holes of golf. All right, folks. 5 holes in at the Rockin 9. We're rocking and rolling. Imagine I say that here. But yeah, some initial thoughts for 5 holes through my very first time out here is make sure you bring your waterproof golf shoes. We got standing water pretty prevalent all across the course. It's a very low-lying part of the state, very low-lying area, so can pretty much bank on that regardless if it's been rainy or not. Otherwise too, play the greens as such as well, super slow in comparison to places like Sandbox and other some of the other courses I've been playing recently. So something really to keep in mind. And also too, extremely long rough. I've been using my Vice Pro Plus shades up until now. I'm going to switch to the regular old white ball just in case I can see it a little bit better in the long stuff. So just about halfway through, and 3 pars, 2 bogeys. We'll see how I finish up. Some tremendous insights from an absolute genius. The 6th hole, one of the tighter holes on the golf course. The river comes up on the right side, forcing you to make an intelligent club choice off the tee. For me, of course, that's going to be my 3-wood. And the hole being 315 yards only off the tee, there's no reason to get too risky with the driver. Well, speaking for myself, of course. I was pretty pleased with how I struck the ball off the tee, but thankfully a miss left keeps the ball in play compared to a miss right. So, if you're gonna miss, please miss left. Otherwise, well, good luck. Here's a sped up version of a chip shot onto an extremely small green. You can see behind me, the camera's based on the left and deep, there is a pretty good ridge on the right side. So a small green on a short hole keeps things interesting for sure. The first of 2 back-to-back par 5s, the 7th hole has the Baraboo River running up the right side and crossing through the fairway at about 270 yards out. A safe line off the tee would probably be somewhere on the left side of the bridge, just to keep the ball in the fairway. After drawing my previous 3-wood, I managed to cut my next 3-wood, putting myself in kind of a tough position behind a tree, cutting the dogleg on the right. Tried to chop a 5-iron high and right, that the club face closed down, so I hit it low and left, thankfully staying in play, but keeping myself making a hot mess of an otherwise fairly simple, not terribly long par 5. Late summer golf has seen me airmail quite a few wedges and also leave a lot of them incredibly short, but my goodness gracious, I'm a little disappointed with myself considering I had some pretty decent momentum coming into this hole. Now, if you go back and watch that putt in slow motion, you will notice that it hits a small bump just short of the cup. Now, I didn't hit the putt very hard, or probably hard enough at all, but keep in mind, as you play at Rockin 9 or anywhere, make sure you fix the pitch marks that you see in the green. And of course, Golf Etiquette 101, fix the pitch marks you make yourself. More or less retracing the steps you just took on the 7th hole, the 8th hole is a shorter par 5, measuring 460 yards from the white tees. As this hole doglegs left, you can be safe in taking an assertive line off the tee, as if you miss the fairway to the right, you have plenty of landing area with no real trouble trying to get the ball up to the green. I had a shot from about 180 yards that I was able to hit a really solid 7-iron to the right edge of the green for a shot at eagle. The big birds have been a rarity this year. I don't know if I've actually had any, so disappointed to miss an eagle putt, but also happy to get a birdie back after bogeying the last par 5. By this time you may have noticed that the hole signs and the scorecard yardage numbers don't exactly match. So a long time ago, this hole used to be a lot longer prior to the course becoming the Rockin 9. So don't be confused by the hole sign. It is about 396 yards from tee to green. Wide open spaces on the left and the right should allow you the opportunity to get as much yardage as you can with the club choice off the tee. The 9th green is one of the larger ones at the Rockin 9, and it has a bit of a tabletop shape to it with spill-off areas on the back, left, right, and front sides. So aim for the middle. Aim for the middle, aim for the middle. Don't get too greedy. I love this as a finishing hole with the concert area, the patio porch behind the green. Thankfully some netting involved too. But a suitable and fitting end to a course named the Rockin 9. So if you're in the area, stop in for a cocktail, a bite to eat, maybe some time at the simulators, or maybe even 9 holes like I played. Just don't leave your waterproof shoes at home. Thank you for checking out another episode of Playing Around Wisconsin. Every view is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to check us out on social media, like, follow, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.